Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kieran, of course, from Red Devil Weekly, and we are in a bit of a new setting. If you've seen any of Rich's streams, you'll recognise this backdrop. We have covered it a little bit with the green screen just to make it look a little bit more clean and tidy for you, but that's not the point. The background isn't the point. The point is I'm here to give my thoughts on Manchester United's game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, Saturday 5:30 kickoff, and it won't be too long of a stream, so if you are watching live, please do leave your thoughts in the comment section. I will try and get through all of your comments in the live chat, I should say. All your comments in the live chat. I will try and get through them all. So please do, if you're watching, leave your thoughts in the live chat. If you're watching on the replay, incidentally, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. As I said, I do really enjoy reading all of your comments. I will reply to all your comments. So please do, make sure you leave your thoughts. If you have any thoughts, questions, anything at all, in the comment section down below. And also, if you do enjoy the content, hit that like button if you haven't already. It really, really does go a long way. But let's start off with talking a little bit about the game, because that's what we're going to be talking about, hopefully, for the rest of the stream, unless we get massively sidetracked, which we're not afraid of doing on this channel. But Chelsea, we're going to talk a bit about Chelsea, the opposition. Currently in fourth place in the league on 20 points. We're actually only a point behind them after they drew with Brentford, and obviously we beat Spurs comfortably 2-0. So actually, not a bad game week, and not a bad time for us to be playing Chelsea, especially, with the chance to go into the top four and leapfrog them and go 2 points ahead of them. So, it's not a bad, time to be playing Chelsea. But Chelsea themselves have had a bit of an up and down season. I think most Chelsea fans would agree. Yes, they're obviously in the top four, and they've shown a little bit of consistency. But the fact that, they've had a managerial sacking in Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter's now come in and seemingly steadied the ship a little bit since his arrival. But I think Chelsea fans at the start of this season, probably would have been expecting a little bit more by this stage. But obviously, if with a win against United, they continue to make ground on those above them. And I think, Chelsea are always going to be a formidable opponent. I said this on Rich's stream. Make sure you check out Rich Sports as well. But I said this on Rich's stream. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge are always a very, very difficult opponent. I think only up until recently we've had a terrible record, at Stamford Bridge. I think even when we were good under Ferguson, we had a terrible record at Stamford Bridge. So yeah, it's difficult. It's always a difficult place to go, and obviously Chelsea will be looking to bounce back from that game against Brentford. Obviously, it ended 0-0 for anyone that wasn't watching, and it wasn't the best game from Chelsea, but you have to remember as well, they did start a pretty changed 11. I think Broha started for the first time. So whilst obviously the result was poor, they have rested quite a few of their players, which obviously means that there is a potential for, Chelsea to be able to field a fully fit starting 11 where everyone is kind of raring to go. So yeah, in terms of the last lineup, obviously Broha started up front. They still had Mount, Jorginho, and a few of the main team, Koulibaly, Azpilicueta, Kepa, who we'll get onto in a second, but he's had an unbelievable last few games. He's really seemed to come into his own, which, as I said, again, isn't a great sign. It really isn't a great sign coming into this game that Kepa is playing out of his skin. But yeah, they had kind of Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek in the team as well. It wasn't their full strength team. It wasn't their full strength team, and obviously, probably Potter has been looking to rest his players ahead of the United match, and it'll be a huge match for whoever wins that game, and so he knows how big getting 3 points in this game is, especially to put some distance between us and Chelsea. So it's a huge game for them, and it'll be a very, very difficult game for us. That's all I can say. And I just mentioned Kepa. He seems to be on tip-top form right now for Chelsea. He was obviously sidelined for Mendy for most of the last couple seasons. He had obviously the odd Carabao Cup run out, which he's obviously infamous for these days. But actually, recently he's come into the team and he's really proven his worth. And it's about time. It's about time, especially for the price tag that Chelsea paid for him. But he really does seem to be proving his worth at this moment in time in really, really good form. And with our lack of quality finishing in the last few games, that is not a great omen. It really isn't a great omen. So, yeah, I do think it's going to be difficult. Chelsea, obviously, the way they play is kind of a 3-5-1, or well, it depends. They've kind of played a kind of 3-5-2, but Havertz was slotting in behind Brozier sort of thing. So, playing that three at the back is always difficult for us to break down. We always find that difficult. They seem to be playing really well. Thiago Silva, of course, rested for the game in midweek, and for someone of that age, he needs to, rest a few games. He can't play every game. He can't play every week. So again, he's been really, really instrumental for Chelsea since his arrival, and I'm sure he'll be very instrumental in this game as well. Hopefully, not too instrumental, but I think he has just been brilliant for Chelsea. Really a commanding force in that back three, and obviously when you've got Koulibaly and Aspilicueta and Chalabar and all these guys, it's not easy to break down. Trust me, it's not easy. Niall, thanks for joining. Appreciate it, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. So yeah, Chelsea are a formidable force, and under Graham Potter as well. If they keep playing the football, or if he can translate the football that we saw with Brighton into Chelsea, I think they're going to become a formidable force. I really, really do, especially with the spending power they have. So yeah, no, Chelsea are going to be a very, very difficult opposition. But again, we kind of already knew this. They're obviously a Big Six club. Um, it's it's never going to be easy. So probably me saying that's a bit obvious, but Chelsea are going to be a force to be reckoned with. But in terms of Manchester United now, in terms of the way we're going to look to set up and the way that we're coming into this game, obviously a 2-0 victory against Spurs, a huge win for the confidence of the players. A brilliant performance as well. Controlled the game from start to finish, really, and just very, very happy and impressed with the way we dispatched Spurs, really. And it could have been, 3 or 4, probably should have been 3 or 4 nil on the night, but a 2-0 win, the 3 points really is all that matters. So, we go into this game with a chance to potentially leapfrog Chelsea into the top four, obviously only being 1 point behind them. And it would be a huge confidence booster to actually get into the top four. I think it would be pretty well the first time we've been in the top four this season. So, in terms of the top four race, you need those little wins, even if it is only for a couple games. You need to be able to have that in your mind that, we've been in the top four already this season. We can finish in the top four. And I think the top four race is going to be very, very tight indeed. You've got United, you've got Chelsea, you've got Liverpool, Spurs as well, probably get dragged into it. It's very, very tight this season. So you need to take every single psychological win that you can get. And, beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, whilst it also be a landmark statement victory for Erik Ten Hag, winning away from home at Stamford Bridge, it would also be a very good win psychologically for the team. Just moving forward, having that confidence of being able to say we've been in the top four already this season. There's no reason why we can't finish in the top four. So that's why it'd be a massive victory. Also, 2 back-to-back wins against teams in and around us in the top four race would be absolutely huge, especially against two sides that were ahead of us, or are still ahead of us, coming into these games. So it would show, good signs. I really do think it would show good signs. I'm going to get into my team, actually, for what I would put out, and let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section down below, what you think of my predicted 11. As I said, this is a predicted 11, not necessarily what I would go with. But I would go De Gea, Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Dallo, Casemiro, Fred, Sancho, Bruno, Anthony, and Rashford. Obviously, no Ronaldo, no Martial is either. Ten Hag confirmed that Martial won't be available in this game. So we don't really have an option in terms of striker. Rashford really is our only striking option. Obviously, Garnacho potentially would be on the bench for the game and maybe he could feature, but I don't see it unless we need a goal. So I think Rashford's going to be up front, Anthony on the right, Sancho on the left-hand side. Again, we don't have huge options. Alanga, we do have Alanga, to be fair, but ultimately, I don't think Ten Hag, as I said, this is a predicted 11. I don't think Ten Hag has the faith in Alanga yet. Maybe after a few cup games that might, start to change. Obviously, gone with Fred and Casemiro as what I think Ten Hag's going to do. I don't see him, changing the winning formula. And I thought credit to them, they played brilliantly. They really did play brilliantly against Spurs. Fred had a monster game, completely contrasting from the game against Newcastle, which is what we know from Fred, what we know and love. A performance one week which is absolutely superb, a performance next week which is a total dud. But luckily for us, he played brilliantly against Spurs. He really, really did. So I think Ten Hag is going to go for Casemiro and Fred again, and then the back four and the goalkeeper at this point is very, very stable. It's really, really solid. I don't see it changing unless there's any injuries. I really don't see it changing for the foreseeable future, to be honest with you. So that's my predicted 11. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section down below if you're watching on the replay as well. And then I'm going to give you my score prediction for the game. And probably at that point, we will end it. By the way, as well, make sure you do. We have a Coil Sports Network TikTok. If you're watching on Rich's channel, we introduced Coil Sports Network to the airwaves. And I do just want to say, actually, that we do have a TikTok if you are that way inclined and are on TikTok. Coil Sports Network on TikTok. Feel free to follow it. We post much more regularly than we do on this channel, trust me, but we post a lot of content on there. So please do, if you are on TikTok, feel free to give it a follow. But my score prediction for the game, I'm going to go with a 1-1. I said it on Richard's stream as well. I'm going to go with 1-1. I have to be consistent. Stamford Bridge is always a very difficult place to go. I think whilst we're coming into this game with a lot of confidence after the 2-0 win against Spurs, Chelsea will be wanting to avenge their performance midweek. And I just see two teams that are fairly evenly matched at this moment in time. So Chelsea might go over the line with the win because of obviously their home advantage, and they have a good record against us overall at Stamford Bridge. So I don't want to be pessimistic, but I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say, obviously, Sancho last season got the goal in what was the exact same result, 1-1 last season. I'm going to say Rashford scores and 1-1. We come away from Stamford Bridge. And, I mean, let me know what you guys think. Would you be happy with a point? I think it depends how we play. And actually, getting a point at Stamford Bridge is never the worst result. But it does feel like we could do a bit better, especially with the way we played against Spurs. I feel like we have the talent and we've got the players, we've got the ability to beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And the fact they obviously blanked against Brentford means there are weaknesses in that Chelsea side. So we'll see what happens. I do think we can get the win, but my honest prediction is a 1-1 draw. But let me know your predictions in the comment section down below. But I'm going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're watching on the replay, thank you very much for getting this far. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I read all the comments, so please do let me know your thoughts. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new and want to receive more content from this channel. But until we meet again, thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in a bit. Cheers.